سبحان فالق الإصباح.
Allahu Akbar!
Ding dong. Hello?
Yes, that's right, infidels. You found us here, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, where you get the most real talk, the best reviews of all your favorite wrestling shows from AEW and WWE, Impact, and more, because we're going to break it all down with the best staff in professional wrestling at HMG. So you don't need to go anywhere else, because there's no 5 stars here. There's only $5 face slaps, infidel.
Allahu Akbar!
So sign up today, channelattitude.com, Hameen Media Group, and join the Hameen Army for the most real talk in professional wrestling. YOLO!
Del Paque.
Hello, I'm Homeboy Shivani, and now the PWC, the Pro Wrestling Coalition, is on the air for the most exciting 2 hours of professional wrestling podcasting in the world. We're gonna put butts in seats and ears to the streets. And now, here are your hosts, Jimmy T and Jeff Lippman. Hello everybody and welcome to the PWC Extra. I'm your rockin' host Jimmy T, and my co-host is back. He's my trusty co-host pretty much at this point. He's on any time I need him. He's evil dose Dr. Jeff Lippman. Welcome back to the Extra. And in what's a big kind of last couple of weeks in the world, or should I say the wacky world of professional wrestling.
It is a wide, wacky world of professional wrestling, and the forbidden shoji has been opened.
Yes, if you want to call it that, Jeff.
We've got comings, we've got goings, we've got litigation threatened, we've got litigation going on, we have things here, we got things there, we got things falling everywhere.
Yeah, we do, as a matter of fact. And you know what, Jeff? You have got some of the news on you right now. So, you know what? How about you start us off with some of the latest happening in pro wrestling or sports entertainment, whatever you prefer, Jeff.
Well, we could talk, before we get into some of the meat, I think, maybe the most impactful, or maybe it's just a one-off thing, is the news that Shinsuke Nakamura is being allowed by WWE to perform for Noah in Japan to face the Great Muta during his retirement tour.
True.
Now it's probably just one match. It is Noah, which is not a particularly big promotion in Japan. It's sort of New Japan and everyone else.
Right now it is, yeah. It used to be a big promotion, though.
Sure. Well, All Japan used to be a big promotion, too.
That was a massive promotion. As a matter of fact, it was once upon a time even above New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he's older than New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Well, yeah, I mean, Inoki split off of All Japan to start New Japan, and he struggled mightily for a while. It's
hence the name New Japan.
Promotion. It's probably, what, about 12 years old?
12? No, it's from the 70s, dude.
No. I mean, being the biggest promotion in Japan.
Oh, more than 12 years. Probably 20 years at this point, Jeff.
You think 20?
When you think about it, yeah, I think. Because by the 2000s, All Japan really started dropping off, and New Japan kind of came back in. But there was a decline in pro wrestling for all the companies in Japan at one stage, where a lot of companies could have gone bust.
I'll take your word for it. I mean, listen, I don't really follow Japanese wrestling. I seem to know too much about it for someone who doesn't follow Japanese wrestling, more than some people who claim to follow Japanese wrestling. But I don't know. I just New Japan got back on my radar about probably about 10 12 years ago, partly because of Ring of Honor and partly because of my confusion that none of their titles were NJPW. They were all IWGP, and I had no friggin' idea what that meant.
International Wrestling Grand Prix, Jeff.
Yeah, that's just stupid. Change your titles, boys. Change your titles.
It's meant to be the governing body of professional wrestling and more particular New Japan Pro Wrestling.
It sounds like car racing. All right. Anyway.
Well, it does, yeah.
Anyway, it's awkward. And if you want a brand, call them the NJPW titles. So, anyway.
Well, on Strong they do, don't they, Jeff? I believe.
On Strong. So, New Japan Week. New Japan Life Support.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the cards aren't that bad, but yes, it is the lesser of the two.
The cards are quite good. The problem is nobody's watching. They had a pay-per-view on Friday. Nobody saw it. Nobody's talking about it. It's not on Twitter. It's not on Facebook. In the PW Hustle, Port Cordell posts his New Japan things. I look. 14 hours goes by, 20 went out. I'm like, they can't even give the poor guy a like. Nobody cares.
Oh, that's sad, man. It is sad. Right now, unfortunately, it is what it is. Since the Elite have taken off from Japan, unfortunately, a lot of interest has really come up because they did have a big amount of momentum with the Elite still part of New Japan Pro Wrestling and I guess Ring of Honor.
Well, also, yeah, and when all the promotions seemed to be at a point where they were all going to work together against WWE. And listen, about a year and a half ago, I posted something where I got dragged and people said I was ratioed. I didn't know what that meant until I realized the amount of dislikes to likes. And then when I actually looked at it, it actually was like 45-55 against, but 45. Anyway, my post was something to the effect that AEW, intentionally or unintentionally, and I believe unintentionally, has sucked all the oxygen out of other promotions. They have hurt Ring of Honor, which was still operating then. They've hurt MLW. They've hurt NWA. They've hurt New Japan. They've hurt Impact. They've hurt every promotion, even the ones they've tried to cooperate with, because people only need so much wrestling. And since then, Ring of Honor's gone out of business. NWA, which is another news note, so I'll fit it in during our news segment, which is really what the show is. But Billy Corgan said NWA is open to work with anyone. He's not said that before. True. He's basically begging.
But he's also alluding that it seems like more than likely they are going to work with WWE and quite possibly be another developmental territory for WWE. He
said he would be their developmental. And yes, there's a lot of smoke saying that Mickie James is going back to WWE for one more round. People still think she's booking the NWA women's division. She is not. She's still sometimes on Impact. And they also say that all this will be following back. Chris Masters has said he wants to be in the Royal Rumble. He says he wants to have a Hurt Lock versus the Masters Lock feud against Lashley. Yeah, of course he does. Anyway, there's a lot of talk from NWA talent about WWE. And listen, I don't think it's a bad thing for NWA or WWE. I think it's a great thing for NWA, frankly, because when they first came back, they were getting 400,000 or 500,000 viewers for a bit. Actually, the first week they got 600,000.
Wow.
Then by the time Cornette had his thing, not because of him, but by the time they were down to about 250,000 a week. Then after him, and I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying that is an easy measuring stick where he made the joke he made from 1997 and 2018 or whatever. And then they would start going down to 225. Well, they would kill for those numbers now, because now there's, like, for instance, the most recent show had, as of Thursday, which is 4 days ago, had 27,000 views. Not 270,000, 27,000. So they would love the exposure, but also WWE needs a jobber class, and some of the people on from NWA could serve that. They had Sal Renaro, who works mostly with NWA. That doesn't mean anything, but they need people who are believable, legitimate, but that can lose. In addition to the 5 or 6 people that they never want to push on WWE that's under WWE contracts, so now they could have a jobber class, and if someone gets over organically, then surprise, surprise, it's a win-win. But you've got Camille there, who could be a star. Aldis, who fits in anywhere.
I felt like Camille could have been a star like 3 years ago.
Right. You could continue Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green, who are also rumored to be coming back to WWE. But
Chelsea
if they came
Green
back,
is a pretty much a done deal in my opinion.
well, they both mean the same thing. But that's another news bit. Cardona said that Zack Ryder is dead. It's Matt Cardona, which fine by me. Zack Ryder was mid. Mark Cardona, aside from his injury, was amazing. So I'm all for it. But they could continue that little feud. They could keep some of the titles or NWA is way too many titles, but they could keep Sweet Charlotte around. You don't need to have, some made up, a European title any longer. I don't know. It could just be cool. It could be sort of like your Ring of Honor's pure title is. It could be more of the you don't have to treat it any differently anyway. It's just a cool title. So what got me on that? I was going on and on about so the Shinsuke Nakamura. So we don't know if this is just something that they did for Muda and for Shinsuke. We don't know if this is a trade-off for Muda to being allowed to go into the Hall of Fame this year. I don't know that Muda needs that kind of permission, or if it's something else. But we know WWE has aspirations for NXTs in at least 3 other locations, Asia being one of them. Most likely spot for that is Japan. I guess India would be the second most likely.
Just going by purely by how many people's in India standpoint. You know what I mean? By population, obviously.
Yeah, well, you got 1.1 billion in India, but I mean, Japan has a lot of wrestling passion, and it's got a more concentrated population, which makes logistics easier. Anyway. Just there's nothing bad in that story. Shinsuke facing Muda. Shinsuke. Some people think he's been underused in WWE. Maybe not. He is over. People like him. So this is a cool little story.
No, absolutely. It's not the forbidden door, but it is a forbidden door.
It's the forbidden shoji.
It's the forbidden shoji, as Jeff said.
For those who don't know, that's one of those Japanese sliding curtains.
Yes, where especially when you go and see the geishas, Jeff?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Anyway.
But the big news continues to be the old news. So it seems like the Elite are almost certainly coming back soon. That's been widely reported. We saw the Elite get Thanos in a promo on Dynamite, which, of course, means the exact opposite, that they're going to be snapped back into existence. So, whatever. It's fine. That's... I didn't miss them, but I know some people did, and it's fine. Get some of that drama, get some of the questions, answered. But the drama in the back remains, with CM Punk now claiming that his dog got injured in the scrum, that Larry the dog had 2 teeth damage and had to be removed. We're only hearing about it now. Why? Don't know.
Well, to be fair, there was speculation at the time that Kenny Omega was trying to save the dog from getting hurt. And that was from day one.
Well, there's also speculation that Ace Steel was trying to protect his wife who was on crutches, but that doesn't mean that the dog got kicked in the teeth. And listen, does CM Punk seem like someone who keep quiet for 7 or 8 weeks about his dog having his mouth injured in a fight?
Well, didn't his publicist come out with a statement about that exact thing?
I'm just saying timing smells like fish in Denmark.
Like it was his camp that actually announced that news, apparently.
Sure, because the entire narrative, the wrestling media is against him. And the wrestling fans are still sort of split, and the wrestlers themselves are sort of split, and Punk can't have that. So, he either released it or he manufactured it. Whichever. I'm suspicious. I hope the dog is okay, however the dog got injured. I thought that there were no dogs. Didn't AEW said there's no more dogs after the Pharaoh incident?
I don't fucking know. It seems like you can bring your dog, your cat, your duck, whatever you want in AEW. Yeah, but, kids.
But, this might just be another example of Punk thinking nothing applied to him and bringing his dog even though no dogs were allowed. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure that after Pharaoh got scared, they said, okay, no more dogs. no more pets.
And to be fair, that actually pissed me off when I saw Pharaoh's reaction, dude. To be honest, I hate seeing animals, get hurt or freak out in an
Sure.
environment they're not used to. You know what I mean? So
Of course, and I mean, and that was predictable as fuck. So I mean, it's not like you're going to the mall and somebody's car backfires. I mean, it
Yeah.
scares the animal, but it's an accident. It also scares you. This was pyro. They knew what was happening. Anyway, so there's been all sorts of rumors. We heard that Kenny Omega lawyered up, but apparently whatever this is, it's that his issue seems to be resolved, or at least enough to go back on TV.
Well,
So
maybe you were onto something, because it makes more sense, Jeff. When you mentioned that apparently he wanted to get lawyered up last week or the week before, well, think about it. TK just apparently announced that he's going to tack on extra months onto Kenny's contract, which was originally supposed to expire, I believe, January 23rd or something like that. Somewhere along those lines, right?
Yep.
But now, that ain't happening till apparently the end of 2023, which absolutely puts... look, I'm not saying that's going to happen now. It's pretty much confirmed. He's coming back to AEW. But if you wanted to go to WWE right now, well, that's out the window, unless you bring in some lawyers and see if you can get yourself out of it.
Well, you can do both. I mean, maybe he thinks you'll get more bees with honey than vinegar. I mean, MJF came back. He did a little strike, and he got a big raise. They're saying he didn't get an extension on TV, but that it's widely speculated that storyline. We don't know, but if it is, that's a work. That's a work that we should know, and that's a good work that's going to continue for the bidding war of 2024, unless they turn him face. But if you want to hear about that, we talked about that on Uncaged, and I'm sure you talked about that with Kevin on the Skirmish. In other related news to this, still talking about the CM Punk buyout and non-compete, and now we're hearing that CM Punk is the one that's threatening litigation and that he's going to sue them no matter what. We're not sure what for. Everyone, of course, thinks it's about the dog. I'm sure it has something more to do with breach of contract.
Absolutely.
Probably his employment contract and his talent contract, because the talent contracts we've heard are very sparse. They're not like any others in the industry. And except for their per appearance, which apparently a lot of the per appearance talent have no contracts, but that's pretty standard in the industry apparently. But sort of there's tiered contracts like Dalton Castle was on, and like Jonathan Gresham, and some of the Ring of Honor people were on, and a lot of them still are on. And some of the people you see on Dark that are on per appearance contracts, and sometimes they get converted to full time. When you see the Roosh is all elite, Willow Nightingale is all elite, that's when you know they're on a full time contract. Because people have been saying that, we believe Josh Woods is on a full time contract, or W. Morrissey, or Bandito. Not until I see the Chiron that says is all elite do I believe that those contracts are signed.
Fair point.
Anyway, so that's been going on, and that's the news. It continues to linger. It's sort of like a ongoing thing, but we got a little bit of spice added on, which was a lot of quotes from Jericho saying he told everyone to shut the hell up, and he approached Punk and said, "You're a cancer to the locker room. We're better off without you." Jericho, of course, is not commenting on it because a few weeks ago he told everyone to shut up. They're not listening to him.
Right. I mean, but do you think there's a lot of truth to that?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Jericho thinks he's sort of the boss there, and apparently he said he was always an employee there. I was skeptical of that, but in his extension, he was certainly made an employee like Moxley, probably getting some of the roles of the EVPs, and possibly Punk had, because he claimed he was an employee also. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I guess we'll find out when the suits are filed. But yeah, but I mean, Jericho has a history of doing this, of confronting people who he's had problems with. I have to say, on a side note, I really enjoy on SmackDown and other shows when they talk about problems get resolved, either in the ring or behind closed doors. They're talking about like Roman and the Bloodline, saying they're going to resolve this behind closed doors as it should be, and you just know the as it should be is like a little subtle insider dig at AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on.
I love it. But yeah, I believe Jericho. I mean, didn't he get into fights with like Brock Lesnar and like a bunch of other people off and about?
Apparently, allegedly, he did. When Brock Lesnar went hard way on Randy Orton, if you remember those elbows back at SummerSlam about 4 or 5 years ago, right? How can we not forget? Which was pretty brutal, I will say.
It was completely brutal. It seems like it was probably unnecessary too. But I mean that. So Jericho's been known to go, and like he wouldn't be afraid of Punk with his MMA.
Nah,
First of all, Punk stunk in MMA, and if Jericho's not going to be afraid of Brock Lesnar, he sure as shit ain't going to be afraid of CM Punk.
Hell no, man. Honestly, dude, I feel like I could knock CM Punk. He was that bad in his last MMA fight. I'm telling you, man. He was pretty bad. He can't
besides that, I mean, I'm pretty sure Jericho knew that his leg was still injured, and I'm pretty sure they all knew that his pec and arm wasn't 100%. I mean, it was probably swelling and getting purple and bruised by then. Oof. So, I mean, wrestlers know when other people are legit injured. So, why would he be afraid if the guy's a righty and his right arm is useless?
It's true. I agree.
So, anyway, that's the stuff with CM Punk, etc., and the background drama on the men's side of AEW. On the women's side of AEW, well, the swipes continue. Thunder Rosa's had enough. Britt Baker keeps talking. Every now and then other people are talking. No one seems to be taking off with Thunder Rosa. JD from New York says something about Marina Shafir. The entire women's locker room jumping on him like he's Dusty Rhodes and the other four horsemen. I mean, it's what's going on with that women's AEW locker. By the way, Thunder Rosa is still the AEW champion, and Toni Storm is their interim world's champion forever, I guess. Or for life. So remember what's up there? What's going on?
Forever.
What's going on with the AEW's women's division? Not in the ring.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on? I mean, why? First of all, I just want to mention about JD. Why are they even giving him the time of day? If anything, you're just giving him the attention that he actually wants in many ways, and he thrives off it.
Jobber Nation, who is pretends to be a wrestling fan, but is obviously a WWE fan, and but he runs his account well. Like, he doesn't abuse anyone. He doesn't rise to the level. I'm assuming it's A. If people attack him, people call him racist all the time, assuming he's white. He's like, I'm black, and I assume he's telling the truth in that. Anyway, Jobber Nation is an interesting account, but he said, but usually it's like good trolling with like a element of truth. Anyway, he said today that this proves that the AEW women's division is hypersensitive. It's booked terribly. They know it's booked terribly, and so they're all punching down on JD. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, and first I was like, "Come on, Jobber, you're reaching them." Like, no, you're right. Why the hell? Why would they care what JD from New York has to say? About this. Why would they all in unison? I mean, it makes more sense if they all sort of are mad as hell and have had enough, and so they decide to punch down on a podcaster, who's a big podcaster, but a big private podcaster, not a corporate back podcaster.
Well, to be fair, he's one of the biggest fan-made podcasts. When I say fan-made,
been doing it a long time. I don't listen to JD.
I'm not talking about your announcers.
I had one exchange with JD. I didn't know it was him. It was back when I was the moderator of the Solid Monster Sounds Off page. And, in that page, other podcasts come up pretty frequently. And Jason didn't want other podcasters to feel unwelcome there. He wanted them to be sort of protected a little bit more than other members, because he didn't want to hear it from his friends and colleagues that your Facebook page is a shitstorm. Well, I don't think it's a secret. JD, his name is Jerry. But I didn't know his real name, and I didn't know his middle name. I'm not going to say it for those who don't know it. I don't want to be accused of doxing. I don't think it's a great secret. But anyway,
I know exactly what his name is, but
I'm sure you do. But I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the world out there, and maybe to him that I don't want to give up his first name here. Anyway, he was interacting. I didn't know it was him, and I just made a remark in that. I'm like, to try and settle things down. I'm like. This was about, and I remember, this is when you said something about like Alexa Bliss looks like a woman that just lays there during sex. It's like, Big deal. How many times have you said
remember
so?
that.
They look like they suck in bed. Big deal. I mean, Anyway, and I'm a Bliss stan. I've got a Lily doll. I mean,
That's true.
Come on. Okay, I'm a Lily stan, but Bliss stan by transitive property. Anyway, so I just said, listen, I don't listen to JD. I don't know him, but I know that Jason, wants shit on other podcasters to be tamped down here. And by the way, he's been doing this for 10 years. And anybody who's been successful in the wrestling podcast crowded field that long deserves some modicum of respect. And he saw it and he said,
absolutely.
Thank you, Jeff. That means a lot. I didn't know it was him. I honest to God didn't know it was him. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, you're welcome. That is my only individual interaction with JD, including I've never listened to a show. I've never watched it. It's not because I don't like it or anything. I just don't need any more media. I see and hear bits on other podcasts and on Twitter and shit, of course. So I'm not, so I know who he is. Anyway, if what he said is that Marina Shafir sucks, he's right. Marina Shafir sucks. Right. She's a bad promo. She's a bad wrestler. She's pretty dangerous. She hasn't gotten much better. She's gotten bigger, which is good. I mean, in a good way. She's got bulkier. She was a twig in NXT.
She looks good, but she can't play the part of what she looks like. It's weird.
Yeah, her promo was terrible. For someone who's a technical wrestler, she's awkward, and she's with Vicky Guerrero and Nyla Rose, who are also terrible. It's like a triad of terribleness. So, and she's getting another title match that she's already lost to this same competitor. She never wins. So why is she getting a title match for a televised Dynamite in my freaking city of all places? Right. So she doesn't deserve it. She should work. Let her work on. If you're not going to release her, have her work on Dark Elevation, so she can learn how to wrestle.
I agree 100%.
So anyway, they all jumped on him. They're not going to all jump on me, but I mean, the point of being is that Jobber Nation, a Twitter account, feels that this is symbolic of sort of the AEW women's division sort of being at a bit of a breaking point. So they're all collectively Dana Brooke now.
Relax. I mean,
well, you saw Dana Brooke break down this weekend also.
She's saying she's one of the hardest workers. That's why she still got a job. Blah blah blah. Get fucked, girl. You must suck some good bazang. That's what I'm saying.
Listen, I doubt she's the hardest worker, but she might be an extremely.
She might be the hardest worker, Jeff. I mean,
I'm not. I don't want to hear about the Batista thing, or you can say it. I'm just saying. All that aside, she might be an extremely hard worker. She might be really dedicated. That doesn't mean you're good.
Yes. Well, and she sucks. I don't understand how she thinks she's decent. Sure, she might turn up to work early compared to everybody else and whatnot. Good on you. If you want a well done sticker, I'm not going to give you one, unfortunately.
That cornerback that didn't make it to your NFL team works really freaking hard, and they worked really freaking hard their entire life for that position. They just weren't good enough. There's lots of people who work really hard and aren't good enough and screw things up all the time.
And it's okay, because that's life.
It's life. She's probably good at other things. This ain't it.
It's definitely not this.
I'm not saying Dana Brooke is terrible. She'd be an average female wrestler in AEW. She's in the lower half in not just WWE, but she'd be in the lower half in NXT as well.
Honestly, she's got no charisma. Honestly, none. She doesn't know how to wrestle. She's just a gymnast in the ring, essentially, who does fucking a few somersaults. Big deal. Everyone can do somersaults in professional wrestling these days, even your big boys. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm telling you, she must work very hard, indeed.
Right. She does the same move that lots of other wrestlers do. She just does it slower. She does the same move Penelope Ford does, Tiffany Strand does. Tiffany Strand's wrestled for a year. Big deal.
And that's what makes you look green, though, Jeff. When you do shit like that, and I can't stand that type of shit.
Exactly. So, anyway, and apparently Dana Brooke was reacting to something Seth Rollins said. I mean, in character as a heel, though it is funny that a few months ago, Corey Graves sort of buried her on a live mic, during Raw or something. and now Seth Rollins did. But I don't know.
I mean, you blames them. Let's be honest, dude.
No, I don't. I think it's funny to say you have a better chance of cashing in on Dana Brooke, the 24/7 champion, than you do of getting the world title or getting my U.S. title. Whatever. It's a funny line, and you know what? Maybe they are hazing her on purpose to see how tough she is. Either get tougher or leave.
Well, how long has she been in the business for now, Jeff?
312 years.
Honestly,
It's
probably been
It's probably 8 years at least.
8 to 10 years, say, right? What the fuck? Has she improved at all?
No.
Really? Honestly, has she? Her look has changed, but so what?
Well, yeah, her look has changed for strange reasons, and not necessarily for the better. But anyway, that's her choice. I don't really care. But you know what didn't happen is the entire women's division attacked Seth Rollins on Twitter, because it's generally a professional company, and Dana Brooke, acting like a child, is out of character for a WWE Twitter account.
It's true.
So unless her character is going to be a upset baby or a spoiled, Gen Zer, doesn't make any sense. Anyway, so back to AEW. So yeah, the women's division seems to be in shambles as well. How long do you think Thunder Rosa is allowed to be the world champion? I mean, the interim thing never really made sense, but it made a little bit of sense for Cody the first time. Because apparently he was only going to be out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Even then, it makes sense.
Yeah, and this is weird too, because I feel like, for some reason, Thunder Rosa is not actually going to return to AEW. I don't know why I get that feeling.
Well, a lot of people...
and it's not a sexual feeling.
No, I don't think anybody thought it was, but thanks
or
for...
sexual healing, for that matter.
No, thanks for clarifying both those things. I'm sure the audience was really confused.
I'm talking about the song,
We got it. You were going Marvin Gaye, not that gay.
That's right.
Gaye. Yes, I've been podcasting with you way too long.
Good boy.
And I just mean this show.
I forgot to do it before.
But
yeah,
I said
please.
it, and I was unpopular about it. I said this interim thing is a mistake because it's a precedent. But if you want to do it once for Cody because he's out for a short time, that's fine. But once you do it a second time, it becomes precedent, and you're stuck with it forever. And now he's stuck with it forever. This is like the 5th or 6th interim champion.
Yeah, and I bet you TK looks at it like this. Well, yeah, we'll do that because we're different. We're separating ourselves from WWE and whatever else is out there. And I'm thinking that's such a lame excuse. Because, yeah, you're separating yourself, all right? You're separating yourself to fucking stupidity on that side. And if you think that's what you call evolving in this, crazy world that we call professional wrestling, sorry, TK, you've got no fucking clue.
I'm aware there's certain combat sports where there are interim champions. I don't watch those combat sports.
Yeah, UFC pretty much.
Is that I know New Japan has a policy that if you can't defend the title within 30 days, generally they're stripping it from you no matter what. And I know that's been loosened a little bit, but you don't have to be 30 days if you're an American company. But you can do, if you can't defend it within 60 days or 75 days, it's stripped. And then the interim champion becomes the champion, because who cares at that point anyway? So, so if you think an injury is not severe, but it turns out to be severe, more severe than you thought, you don't rush the person back. You just promise when they come back that they will get a title rematch, for the belt they never lost. The end. It ain't that big a deal. Speaking of New Japan and titles, the Carl Anderson never open weight championship story
never happened, Jeff.
It's still unclear. Like, he's saying he's still going to defend it, and they're saying they're not necessarily going to strip him of it. So what's up, Jimmy? You're our New Japan guy. You're a man on the inside. You're a man in that part of the world. You are in the Pacific.
I am, but essentially so is the United
for
States.
The All-Atlantic Championship.
Well, yeah, and so is the West Coast of the USA. I mean, come on.
No.
Why not? That's the Pacific. That's the Pacific side.
No, stop with your round earther thing.
Sorry, it's flat according to... I'm a hollow guy, but anyway, that's for a different show. Check out Jeff's show, Garden of Doom, and Garden of Doom.
Both hollow and flat.
Could be hollow and flat. Hey,
You
it
know,
could be.
it's
Who
flat
knows?
is just tough. It can be thick. It can be like a shoe.
I mean, hey, if you want to shoot Cowboy just quickly, right? And I'm not talking about
Cowboy.
Mr. Hangman Adam Page,
I was confused.
but exactly. But if you look at a flat earther's perspective, they say, you know how they've got the what do you call it, man? Like their projects. What do they call it, man? Like their diagram, not diagrams. It's another word.
Maps.
Yeah, whatever. Like where they show why the Earth is flat and whatnot, right? Anyway.
Oh yeah. Where they show that there's no curvature and there's no
No,
horizon.
and the sun and the moon like rotate basically on top, like
Mhm.
you know what I mean, like a rotor sort of thing. But like, yeah, which could make sense. I mean, night day. But then the problem is, I see the moon, like even during the day. Like that doesn't make sense to me even sometimes.
I mean,
Because shouldn't it be on the other side of the planet per se?
I mean, it's a really strange thing. I mean, I know they think that everything's explained by we all live in a giant fishbowl, but if we
It's
live in
weird,
a
dude, when
giant
you break it
fishbowl,
down. Right.
I mean, this is the most backward European-centric viewpoint in the world because the Mayans, the Toltecs, the Olmecs, the Chinese, the Persians, the Arabs, the Canaanites, everyone else knew it. I mean, if you go to the original, when Jews were still pagans in the old synagogues, on the ground there's the zodiacs and the suns in the middle. The Mayans predicted, the Egyptians, they have calendars that, the Mayan calendar just ended 10 years ago, went out to 2012 because
Don't forget the Greeks, Jeff.
Because they did them at the Greeks too. So the only ones were the Europeans, and that's 500 years old. So you're actually taking us back to pre-Renaissance, pre-Age of Enlightenment Europe with this. It's like there, it's not like all of the ancients were in on this conspiracy with NASA either. Anyway.
No, that's true too. No, but I will say this before we do end it. This is a little sneak peek, shall we say, at Garden of Doom. Exactly.
And or Garden
Views.
Views.
And Garden Views, that's right. But it is interesting to talk about. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that the ancients during that time were so much smarter than, say, in the 1800s. I felt like we were stupid at that point compared to those days. If that makes any sense. I felt like we lost ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. We lost ourselves at one stage until more was going really fast, Jeff, when you think about it. Whereas at a point when we grew up, it felt like technology was going really slow. Like, how long did we have VHSs for? And shit like that. Like, shit stayed the same for quite a while until we sort of reached a lot older.
This is true. So, anyway, we got off on that for a while, but you were going to enlighten us about Carl Anderson and his title. What's going on with Carl Anderson and New Japan?
I think there is a little bit of a conspiracy theory because I think New Japan want to play good sort of New Japan for WWE and not piss them off and sort of do what they say and respect them, but at the same time, they don't want to be disrespected either. If they felt disrespected, they'll strip him right away, believe me. Like, they'll absolutely strip him. But this could be a positive thing. I mean, it's unusual for New Japan not to strip him, because by now they should have stripped him, especially considering that they advertised a matchup that didn't end up happening. So, and that's a big no-no for New Japan.
So are you thinking that the reason this is sort of in limbo is because New Japan actually is trying to keep another Forbidden Shoji open to possibly work with WWE? Do you think that they're maybe saying, hey, AW hasn't really helped our New Japan Strong product, and maybe if we cooperate with them on their NXT project, and maybe they'll help us with New Japan Strong, and maybe we can start baby stepping our way into a deal with WWE? Hunter's a new guy. You think that's possible? And this is sort of why they're not being so hardcore about the title defense here.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, they have worked with each other in the past. They have done like big mega shows, but WB actually have worked with all the major Japanese promotions, including Noah and All Japan Pro Wrestling, especially All Japan, on numerous occasions. But But to truth be told, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they're going that way because of that reason. But the best scenario would be for me, and it would be an absolute Mark Tard like me dream, is if they had a G1 with WWE, the best of WWE, New Japan, and AEW in one big tournament that goes on for a few weeks, almost every day. I think would be an absolute booker's nightmare and an absolute fan's dream in many ways. It'd be pretty awesome.
It could happen, but let's take more of a baby step approach. Let's say WWE had no plans for, say, Nakamura and Ali, which probably is true.
Ali, they're trying, it seems, at least. They're trying something.
Just give me Ali on this because I hate him.
Fair enough.
As a wrestler, not as a person, I don't know him as a person.
He was a cop in Chicago. I mean, you got to have balls.
Gee, everyone loves cops, right? Okay. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, I mean, how long could he have possibly been a cop? What's he, maybe 30 now, and he's been in wrestling for at least 7 years? What was he, a cop for 6 months? Anyway, irrelevant.
Yeah, good question.
Let's just say, okay, pick someone else so we don't have to talk about Ali. Let's just say they send Masai. They send Mace and Nakamura over there. And WWE's like, I don't want our guys to get killed, but you can have Mace lose. He can only win, you can only have him win like entry level matches and not go very far. But we want Nakamura to go at least to the quarterfinals. And New Japan goes, okay, he was a New Japan guy, no problem.
I can say that, but
that's more realistic than you getting a G1 where it's WWE versus New Japan.
Right. Well, to be fair, since Antonio Inoki passed away, which we did an extra special on Antonio Inoki, which you check out right here at the PWC Network. He did actually represent WWE in Japan, and he was on New Japan sort of advertising, like just little snippets of him. He was posing with Tanahashi and Okada, and I mean, yeah, man, like I think WWE is trying something. I mean, there seems to be a bit of a few pleasantries, shall we say, between multiple groups in Japan and WWE. Which must make AEW kind of paranoid.
Well, let's be honest. First of all, everything makes AEW paranoid. So if WWE is doing it only to make AEW paranoid, that could be fun. But New Japan is not the same. It hasn't been the same pre-pandemic. It hasn't been the same post-pandemic. AEW's taken a lot of its market. People are sort of getting their wrestling itch. They're sort of getting their Japanese-style wrestling itch. And to make matters work, New Japan periodically lends AEW some of their guys, and they mostly lose. So, so they're losing their prestige here, and whatever they're doing with Impact is irrelevant because nobody watches Impact. So
nobody.
Maybe they want to get some more of their market share. They invested a lot in North America, and so maybe they want to keep their doors open and try to work with WWE, and so they're getting a little bit more political there. So nothing wrong with that. So it's interesting to think about, and then you can fantasy book big. I can fantasy book. I mean, it won't be a fantasy for me, but this is called fantasy booking small. And I'll say it's more realistic, but whatever. It's interesting because I think that's the best reason why New Japan is sort of holding up, stripping Anderson of this title, because normally it's like 30 days or you're done. Yeah. They did it with John Moxley 3 years ago.
You're right, but how cool would it be if someone like Kazuchika Okada turned up on Raw or SmackDown just out of the blue? Lights go out, you hear the coin drop, ting, everyone would lose their shit.
And what about some guys from New Japan who are getting a little bit older and, like a Naito, like the old LIJ? You have Naito, Evil, and Sonata as a tag team.
I love LIJ.
What about them versus Imperium? Or them versus
That'd be awesome.
It could be fun.
For me, it'd be awesome. I know there's going to be a lot of listeners out there and viewers that are probably rolling their fucking eyes right now. But not sorry.
Well, I mean, a lot of the WWE guys get no response. I mean, doesn't make me. I mean, Tennille Dashwood, Emma came back this week.
Oh yes, that's right.
They're talking about Tegan Knox. Well, she's not going to get any response. To my great chagrin, Karrion Kross gets no response. Not even boos. I don't understand it.
I feel like his momentum is sliding just very slightly and slowly the last few
Walks
weeks.
into nothing. But it's not just him. Madcap Moss. Nobody cares.
But he looks generic
Ali.
anyway. Look at him.
I know. Wait, yeah, right. Madcap Moss. Nobody cares. Ali. Nobody cares. I mean, a lot of the guys, nobody cares. But it's not the crowds, because when Kevin Owens comes out, they care. When the Bloodline comes out, they care. When Sami Zayn comes out, they care.
They do. Absolutely, you're right. Something's up, that's for sure. But they got to be careful with that. Absolutely. I mean, because the thing is, with Karrion Kross, I feel like that entrance with a lackluster crowd is so like, ugh.
It's bizarre. It's so theatrical. I mean, it's such a good act. It's just the entrance alone. I don't
Without
get
the
it.
energy, it's not the same, Jeff, and it makes
And
it kind of.
and in my mind, which could very well be wrong, but I don't know what any of that means.
Neither do
Gargano,
I.
right? Guys, yeah, absolutely. Gets very little reaction. Candice LeRae, very little reaction. Damage Control, very little reaction. Bailey gets a reaction by herself. Right. Gargano comes out to silence. Exactly. Correct.
And
Ciampa
also,
came out to
Cancer Ray is
silence.
god awful.
He's right. But that's why I think that the WWE needs a jobber class, but like not like no names, not local enhancement, but people like
So, like, evolve again, basically.
or NWA, like Mike
Okay.
Knox, Tom Latimer,
Right.
Chris Adonis. The people who were there, the what do they call them? The bruisers, not the. I don't even know what they're called. The two big
Wait,
guys.
wait. For what promotion are you talking about now?
NWA. You probably don't even know who they are, but it doesn't matter. Just people that are your tough outs, like the SD Joneses of the world used to be, or the Moondogs. Like at some
Right.
point they won in life, but now their job wasn't to win anymore. But every now and then they do win, so you can believe it. So anyway, I think that's what they needed to do with Cross, is they needed him to like kill like 6 or 7 people in a row like that. That's why
But he's
almost
attacking.
sort of stagnant, because he's beating jobbers. They're just adding more jobbers, but
Yeah,
not
but
anyone that anyone takes even a little bit seriously.
yeah, but they're kind of fun with the way he beats up those jobbers, though. Let's be honest. I mean,
It's a little
come
fun,
on.
but it's also stagnant. Like he needs people, like he needs to beat like Tozawa, Drew Gulak, R Truth, but Cedric, but Shelton. They've got to sacrifice some of their own people, or bring in people that have credentials from other places that people would recognize and go, oh, they're pretty good, and they get sacrificed, and then, like I said, become a jobber class. Anyway,
Well, Facebook
it was
user in the chat, I'll just quickly read out this comment. The crowd has fell flat on damage control also, which is true. But he's the only one they fuck with, if that, man. I mean,
True.
seriously. I mean, yeah, the fans probably prefer Bailey over everyone else, but
Oh, there was one other little thing I forgot on the Thunder Rosa thing. Apparently, like her friends, like the people from Mission Pro Wrestling, are not getting booked by AEW any longer.
I wonder why.
Yeah. So like your
Yeah,
Kylie
that's
Kings, like she was on every week, and now she's gone, and I'm not sure if that's related to why Red Velvet is gone. I know she was injured, but it
Oh, is
seems like
she
she's been
gone?
injured a long time.
What's up with that? Is she actually gone, Red Velvet?
No, she was injured, but I mean, I don't know what her injury was. I mean, and why it should take like 4 seasons, but she was friends.
Well, Facebook user in the chat says, remember when Ricochet and Gable was seen as one of Triple H's favorites? What the hell happened? Well, first of all, Ricochet started finger banging himself. That's what happened. And Gable, he started shushing everybody, and now they're just good hands.
Yeah. Well, Ricochet also
Literally.
spoke, which was a big mistake for Ricochet. He never should have spoke. Never should have taken off the mask.
He should be Prince Puma, and that's it. Don't even let him talk.
It should have had someone else speak for him. Whatever. Next. That's it. Because Ricochet should be a much bigger star than he is now, and it may be too late. But you never know. But so there's that. I don't know about Red Velvet, but I mean, she did come out of Mission Pro Wrestling, so it could be that.
Maybe, yeah. Well, who knows? They don't tell us anything, though, Jeff. That's the problem.
No, they don't. All right. So a little show business stuff. Liv Morgan was on Chucky.
Ugh.
Sasha Banks continues her red carpet tour.
What's up with that, dude? I mean,
her and Naomi at the
being everywhere.
Yeah, with New Day and the Usos at the Black Panther 2 premiere. Sasha was in Spain, and she's on Barmageddon with Brie Bella.
You think they're going to come back?
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like Sasha Banks is enjoying life too much for her to even be interested in coming back anytime soon. As far as Naomi goes, I feel like she just doesn't care. It's like, yeah, whatever.
They're coming back. I guarantee it.
I think so too. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't. But when do you think WrestleMania say? Will they? Or Royal Rumble even?
I thought it was going to be Cardiff. I mean, I thought that was the whole point of Damage Control winning those titles, but they didn't even win until I think after Cardiff, right? Like the week after.
Yeah, they lost. They actually fucking lost, which surprised all of us.
Right. So, so don't ask me when I think it is. I've got no freaking clue. I'm obviously wrong, but I'm going to assume whenever Damage Control beats another team that they're not supposed to beat.
Well, yeah. Well,
like whenever they cheat. Yeah.
Weird booking actually, Jeff, because they end up, booking him to win after that, and then I don't fucking know. It was weird anyway the way everything's going, and it's still weird now.
It's probably not going to. It's not going to be Crown Jewel. So I guess
Definitely
Survivor Series is your next best bet. I would have said Day One, but now Day One's canceled. So
true. What's taken over in its place though? Nothing.
Nothing. Well, Crown Jewel sort of.
But
it's never exactly
two pay-per-views in January though.
Yeah. Well,
not anymore.
I guess they decided that was a one-time thing. I guess they didn't want to compete with college football and all that stuff.
I like Day One. I actually thought I like the concept too. I like the name.
I thought it was a good show.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Absolutely did.
But okay, listen, I'm I don't. There's too much wrestling. There's just too goddamn much wrestling, and then you have to do prediction show and then review shows in addition to the regular podcast. Again, I mean, you don't have to, but it gets exhausting even to be obligated to watch so much wrestling, like so many weekends, Saturday night and Sunday night are dedicated to wrestling.
It's true, but I mean, come on, Jeff. I mean, at least you get shit like this that brings a smile to your face and you think, oh yeah, that's why I love this shit.
World Six-Man Championship. The only other competitors to have done so are Jay Lethal and Christopher Daniels. Wait a second, what the hell's going on? The bell rang, and I think Mike Bennett just grabbed the hammer and trying to signal an end to the match. But
that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Paul Turner did not call for the end of the match. And
this match continues. Ignore it, ladies and gentlemen.
Ignore it, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm not sure his voice that is, but whoever it is, I've never noticed they have a Great Lakes accent. They have like a Chicago, Detroit accent.
Who Mr. Jim Ross or Excalibur?
No, not Jim Ross. He's from Oklahoma.
I know.
Whoever the other guy, if that was Excalibur, I've never noticed it before.
That would have been Excalibur, 100%.
I did not notice that I never noticed he had a Great Lakes accent before.
Ain't he from California though? He's one of the founding fathers of Pro Wrestling Guerrilla.
I have no idea where he developed his. I never heard of him before the first AEW pay-per-view, but where he became an adult is not where necessarily where he grew up. And
true.
I detect, or where his parents from, whatever it is, I detected the Great Lakes accent there.
I'll look into him actually.
All right, so we have a little bit more news on Billy Gunn and the DX reunion. Apparently, up until the day before, it was agreed that he was going to go, and that the holdup was that Tony Khan wanted him to wear an AEW shirt and be able to promote AEW on WWE TV. Of course, WWE said no, which...
they never got back to him, to be precise, actually. They just ghosted him.
Oh, well, I mean, it was a stupid request. Okay. And so he withdrew his consent. So there's that. Maybe they should have responded and said, Tony, come on. No, we're not going to do that. But all right. I have a question for you, and this is entirely a storyline. But
okay.
At Dynamite this week, Wednesday, in Baltimore, a show that is 15 miles from me, if that I'm not going to go to, because the card sucks. Jay Lethal is facing Darby Allin, who's been in Nowheresville for a while, and Jay Lethal apparently knows about Darby's secret from Darby's old friend. Who do you think is Darby's old friend? Is it someone already on the roster? Is it another new debut from somewhere in wrestling that we should get excited about, the next game changer that will change nothing?
No, please no. Not anyone from Game Changer Wrestling.
Not anyone from Game Changer Wrestling, because they're not working with they're working with WWE now. In fact, they're going to be
Apparently,
on the WWE
I don't know
Network.
why.
Well, they're getting a WWE Network, which I guess means Peacock. I don't know if it's just the network. I'm not.
It means Peacock. It means binge. It means fucking everything.
Well, that's pretty huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's huge for Game Changer, and I guess it's content.
It's a game changer.
Current for, I don't know. It's like these little things that Hunter's. Listen, when it comes to the on TV and in ring product, I feel that Hunter is not much different than TK, and I say that with regret and disappointment. But from the business, I like some of the moves he's making business-wise. I like some of the returns. And
he's more cerebral, shall we say, no pun intended, because he really is the way he is, if you know what I mean.
But I think he's trying to do a little bit of goodwill without losing the structures and the infrastructure. I mean, he didn't set up the business infrastructures, the policies and procedures that makes WWE real business, but he's still adhering to them. I mean, whatever's going on with Punk and Thunder Rosa would never happen in WWE. It just wouldn't happen.
But would Triple H still be open to actually re-signing CM Punk, or is CM Punk finally dug his own grave in professional wrestling, and he's done?
I think he's dug it. I mean, everyone says it's cliche. You never say never in wrestling, but I'm going to put it at under 10%. I don't think Triple H likes him. I know Stephanie doesn't. I don't think they think that they can make much more money with him than anything else. I don't think they hate AEW enough for that.
If it was during the Monday Night Wars, they would have absolutely re-signed him, regardless of all the heat, I think.
But it's not, and I think that they know that at this point, that if he was with them for any length of time, he's just going to turn on them again too.
More than likely, absolutely. He's a 44-year-old child, and he's the one to talk about that he works with children. Well, CM, whatever the fuck your name is, Phil. Sorry, man, but you got to look at yourself in the mirror, pal.
Absolutely. A little bit more on the business side, a little bit more WWE versus AEW, but it's more Ring of Honor versus NXT. Anyway, they both have pay-per-views or PLEs the same day. There's a Ring of Honor one December 10th at 3 o'clock, but that's local time, which is Central. So it's 4 o'clock Eastern, which is the same day NXT is having, I think that their PLE is being called Deadline or Dateline.
Dateline. It can't be Dateline. Not like
no, it must
show.
be Deadline. And that's going to be, I mean, it starts at 7, but I'm assuming that's the pre-show, and usually the pre-shows actually start at 7:30. So whatever it is, it's not a direct conflict, but Ring of Honor pay-per-views aren't like the AEW ones where they go 4.5 to 5.5 hours.
No,
the Ring of Honor shows tend to be 3 hours with a pre-show, maybe an hour, but like a half hour in the ring. The NXTs also tend to be 3 hours with a shorter pre-show. So I'm guessing that one show starts at 4, ends around 7 or 7:30. The other show's pre-show either starts at 7 or 7:30, and the wrestling starts at 8. So there's probably actually no direct conflict between the two.
Oh, well, there you go. And just quietly, whoever comes up with these stupid names for some of these premium live events that NXT do, you should shoot yourself, seriously. What sort of fucking name? What was it? Deadline?
Oh, maybe they should go back to school.
Maybe, or maybe go call it Priceline. Why not? I mean,
who was going back to school?
Who's going back?
Tessa Blanchard.
Hey,
done with wrestling. She's going to University of Texas or some school in Texas for international relations. So maybe she'll be joining the embassy after all.
She's the last person that should be fucking doing any sort of international anything.
Well, she's going to school first, so maybe she will learn how to do it better. And she does spend a lot of time in Mexico, and I believe her husband is from Mexico. So
he's a reptilian, as a matter of fact, Jeff.
He's a reptilian. I know he was in the Snake Clan, right? Daga.
He's a He's a reptilian.
I say. For those who are wondering, we reported last show that AEW did not wish Kenny Omega a happy birthday. They did not wish CM Punk a happy birthday either.
No, or me for that matter.
Right? Well,
Can you believe that shit?
Which is the biggest snub? I mean, and we'll see what they do with me in
my
about
birthday. All of our birthdays were in October, real close to each other, but I was the one that got snubbed first.
Yeah,
Can you believe that
those
shit?
bastards. Can't believe that.
Those bastards.
And it was your 40th, too, a special birthday.
Oh, don't remind me. No.
It was your 40th.
Why'd you do that?
So,
no, I don't know what you're talking about.
In some NXT news, and NXT doesn't usually make a whole lot of news, but the newest member of the Schism was unveiled to be Ava Raine, who is Simone Johnson, the daughter of The Rock.
Poor girl.
For what reason?
They're gonna feed her shit, Jeff. This is her way. This is their way of fucking making her pay her dues. Unfortunately,
is it
she's
mean
gonna
to
be the
say
female?
She looks like if The Rock put on a weird wig.
No, it's not weird to say. But also, you know what else is weird? Have you seen the memes and the videos with that The Rock's face is in her body? Like,
it isn't that much different than her actual.
It's weird though. It's fucking weird. But more importantly, you know what this sadly reminds me of? Take one guess. This should be easy.
The Rock's first character?
No, Judgment Day, except an extremely, and Judgment Day suck anyway. But this is, if you want to call it a $2 sort of shop type of joint, fuck that. Even a $0.25 store, whatever. A $0.25 store type of fucking Judgment Day, dude. Except
I'll buy that for a quarter.
Unfortunately, I don't have anything like that. But I wouldn't even pay $1 because that's what that shit is. I don't even know what the Schism is. What is the Schism, Jeff? Can you explain it to me? Because I don't see a schism, damn it.
It's terrible. It's a terrible thing. This is not good for Simone Johnson. It's not going to help the Schism. This is not going to ruin her either. I don't know how good a wrestler she is or isn't.
Poor old Pebbles.
I will say this. She's not a pretty woman. So she's lucky she's got the right father.
Oh, no.
Come on, I can't be the only one saying it.
No, you're the first one I've heard say it, though, man. I'm not going to lie.
Okay,
but you're right.
those memes are not implying it.
Yeah, she's not. Anyway,
moving on.
Look,
so Darby's friend, Darby's old friend. No ideas, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Could it be Jeff Hardy?
It could be.
You know I'm right, Jeff.
No, I don't think he's coming back until his court situations are resolved, and I don't
know. Sure. Court proceedings with Jeff Hardy, no worries.
Yeah, it could be. But are they old friends? Like I assumed it was like someone from the Indies that they used to work with. I don't know. I don't know.
Old friends, indeed.
Yeah, I don't know.
More like
is Sting going to turn on him? Is that what's happening? It's going to be Dark Sting.
Hey, if we do get a new fucking version of the Hardy Boys, Team Extreme 2.0, whatever they are, if old Sting, hell yeah, I'll turn.
It's going to be the Black Wasp.
It could be the Black Wasp. It could be the Clown. Just not the Joker, the Clown.
He could be Art Sting.
He could be. It could be NWO Sting, for you know.
Good. Or Wolfpack Sting.
Oh, Wolfpack Sting, indeed. Except he was the OG Sting originally. At least you know the fake Sting wasn't the real Sting, which was NWO Sting. You get me, right?
So confusing.
You follow me?
I don't. Speaking about Judgment Day, I will say that I think that Rhea Ripley's slam of Doc Gallows from the OG is something that's going to go down in infamy as something that's going to be on the Raw entrance clip forever, and deservedly so.
It'll be on the Raw entrance clip, but I won't. I'll say this: I don't know about forever though. It was great. Don't get me wrong, but
I think this was the most impactful slam since Hulk Hogan slammed Andre the Giant.
I know you're joking, Jeff, but
I'm not joking.
Let's be honest. I mean, nothing will ever beat that body slam heard around the world back in what, 1986, I believe? 87? Sorry.
Can we talk about how Tony Khan had a meet and greet about a week and a half ago and nobody showed up?
He did? Oh, because I never heard about his meet and greet. And because, yeah.
Well, 7 people showed up and 2 of them were Fulham soccer fans. I'm sorry, football. Fulham football.
Football,
club.
Jeff.
Yeah,
football.
Right. So
I mean, let's be real, Jeff. They use their feet, legitly. You know, our versions of football, we use unfortunately, our arms as well.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares. No,
I'm just saying.
It's not the Olympics. Nobody cares.
It's legit, though.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, whatever. It is what it is. Okay, soccer.
Mm-hmm. All right. Is Malachi Black released?
Well, I don't even know. I mean, is he a Malaka, Jeff? Andrade's definitely suspended, 100%.
Is he going to be released?
He wants to be released.
Is Buddy Matthews released?
He's another one that definitely wants to be released. Brody, I don't know. I feel bad for him. He's probably the one that's actually going to cop all the shit, and he has to love it eating it because of his fucking partners.
He's never made this kind of money.
He should be loving life, but he's going to eat shit. It's just like when the Clique did their thing back at Madison Square Garden in '96. You know, the what do you call it? The curtain fucking thing, the curtain call. Mm-hmm. He's going to be the one. He's going to be Triple H, essentially. He's going to eat the shit and love it.
So he's Hornswoggle. He's going to pay the price for the sins.
Yes. Even worse than Hornswoggle. Don't worry about that.
Hornswoggle, always the forgotten member of DX.
Always a forgotten, well, maybe not forgotten. Actually, you always remember him, but he's definitely forgotten, though, in many ways. Mm. He needs more value in DX. Heck, I would have had him at the fucking reunion.
Okay, because I've heard that Malachi Black is both released and not released. It's a real Schrodinger's cat situation.
Oh, really? So he's released but not released, but he's depressed but not depressed, but he's going to stop wrestling because his back is fucked, but then he turned up at an independent event and wrestled anyway, and yeah, I mean, this is a whole lot of, shall we say, bullshit.
Somehow this is all
and Malachi talk, if you know what I mean. Malachi.
Somehow I think this is all wrapped up in CM Punk's litigation. I think everything is stuck there. Anything that Tony wanted to do that was nice, he's either learned he can't do anything that's nice, or that he can't do it for some people and not just, not CM Punk, or he's got to buy out CM Punk first so that he can figure out what the buyout percentage rate is.
TK, you can't have it both ways, my man. You can't do it one way and expect to have it the other way. You either be the boss or just continue doing what you're doing. If that's what you think is the right thing to do, because you're going to get walked all over in these shark-infested waters that they call pro wrestling.
All right. Some other news. We learned that Ciampa had hip surgery, and he's going to be out for about 6 to 9 months. So that's where Ciampa's been.
Ciampa. Sounds like dog food.
Yeah, well, it does. I always said that him and Johnny Gargano should never be on the main roster, and I was right then, and I'm still right.
They look like 2 fucking ants on a land full of fucking wasps.
Right. And it has been reported that both Bandito and Juice Robinson have, in fact, signed with AEW, but we have not seen those banners that say All Elite. So,
well, can I say, is Juice all juiced?
I don't know, but first of all, I don't know if Juicy is feeling oozy, but if Juice does join AEW, it will be the only time I actually want there to be a feud with Orange Cassidy so that they can use "I'm going to beat you to pulp" puns to death.
Does that mean we can call Juice Robinson Juice Robinson? Or Juice Robinson?
I don't know how we could stop you. Just remember that every time you do something like that, I'm going to remind the world that the answer to all your questions is penis.
Dick. It is. It's true. Down where, Jeff? Down there.
Acknowledge D's. By the way, if you want to catch Acknowledge D's, check out Dollar Club Wrestling, Mischief Night. Yours truly, myself, did the commentary and the color. Or an alter alias of myself, and you could see a backyard title match, casket match between Un Gatto Pussy Grande and Rock Hard Jim Pendry. Still available on YouTube, Facebook, and all of that. I don't want to spoil the
extra. Well, we are on the extra. Did we find out who El Gato Pussy Grande actually is?
It turned out it wasn't Jushin Thunder Liger. It wasn't Ricochet. It wasn't Penta, who we thought. That's who we narrowed it down to. It was actually the Dollar King, Sexy Time Kevin Panetta himself.
No way, meow. No way, meow.
No, I don't. Meow. Talk about Swerve.
Not in that glory holes, but Swerve meow.
I cannot believe he didn't throw litter into Pendry's eyes, at least during that match. I mean, that would have been great.
That would have been money. Absolutely money.
It was no DQ, but yeah, since we're doing spoilers, the Dollar King, despite revealing himself, he got too cocky, revealed himself, and Pendry retained his title. Dollar King ended up in that casket. And there is an after-match interview. We had a media scrum, and it was moderated by Dr. Jeff Lippman, the Doctor of Fashion, the fashionista himself.
Who's also is behind the barista as well. I mean, come on.
You have to watch.
Been a fashionista behind the barista. You know what I mean?
You have to watch. You have to watch to find out. That's all I got to say about that.
All I say to that is ooh la la.
Ooh la la is right, but Mr. Ooh la la was not there. So some other signings that might be interesting. So it's been reported that PJ Black is with Impact. It's true, but he's not signed. It's just a one-off appearance. Didn't even sign a contract. How do I know that? Because we're friends, and he told me.
Yeah, it's true.
And I said, you don't even sign a waiver? He said, appearance, just a one-off appearances. No one does that. Not even WWE. LOL. So there you go, jackoffs. I go, what a cringe business. Even the biggest companies in the world don't have them sign an injury waiver release. Jesus Christ.
Wow. That's
I can't believe how bad this business is.
Wow.
Someone named Johnny Swinger, however, did sign with Impact. I don't know who that is.
Good old Johnny Swinger from way back in ECW days and WCW, I believe.
Okay. PCO re-signed with Impact. So, yeah, the John Ouellette, the one-eyed guy back from Brawl for All, who lost because, well, he only has one eye and couldn't. And
legit. He actually legitimately does have one eye. And, yes,
He's like 50 years old. He's about 54, 55 now. And
he's got to be 65 at this point. He's been around for a mighty long time.
Well, I don't know what his shoot age is, but I know that they report him as, I think 54, 55 is what they report him as.
Let's see. He looks older than 55, let's be honest. Fuck.
He's lived a hard life.
He fucking has.
And Lana /CJ Perry has been rumored to be with everyone, but most recently said that she preferred to join her husband in AEW. Someone has said that that's the only way you'll get Miro back on TV is for her debut, and then they'll be forgotten again. I'm like, imagine that. She'd rather work with her husband so they can travel together and they can both be paid a lot of money for doing nothing.
Why not? I mean,
I'm surprised. Lana, by the way, in showbiz, she's on the Surreal World, which I think is on VH1, which I wasn't aware was still a channel.
Yeah, VH1 is so like 15 years ago.
Longer for me, but I hear you. I hear you, baby. I hear you.
Probably even longer. No, you're right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's most of the news that I have, unless you want to go into ratings, or if you want to go into Halloween Havoc or do a crown jewel predictions.
That's up to you, Jeff. Since you're leading the way here at the Extra, I'll let you decide.
How about this? We will do crown jewel predictions after either Machismo or Smack Talk this coming week for this coming week's SmackDown, not the past SmackDown that we have to catch up.
Right.
Halloween Havoc results, real quickly. Braun Breaker retained his title in a pretty good match. Mandy Rose retained her title. Also in a pretty good match with, sort of a weird opening segment, but a Halloween Havoc sort of haunted house kind of thing. Wes Lee is your new North American champion, which good for him. I thought he was going to win, but didn't predict he was going to win, which counts as a loss for me, just because I figured they wouldn't give it for him.
The outcome of that match is quietly, Jeff.
I know, but you got a lot of the other ones wrong. Roxanne Perez defeated Cora Jade. Apollo Crews defeated Grayson, the Australian Waller, in a casket match. And Julius Creed defeated Damon Kemp, and so his brother does not have to leave NXT.
And that was my favorite match, actually, if I recall.
Yep. It was your favorite match.
It actually was. I actually liked it for whatever reason. It was all right. But yeah.
I liked half the show, but I didn't think it was a great show. I think you asked me, like, out of 5 stars, what would I give it? I think I gave it 2.5.
It was 2. It was 2.5.
I liked half the matches. I didn't like half the matches, and even the matches I liked, I didn't necessarily love all of it. So,
well,
Saturday night,
to be fair, I did agree with you also. I didn't think it was a great show at all.
Yeah.
Like, it had its moments, though, but it wasn't completely bad, but it just wasn't great either.
It wasn't bad. It was, if you asked me on a scale of 10, I wouldn't have given it a 5.
Hell no.
I probably would have said, 6.5, 7.
That's being generous now. Let's be honest.
It's a C-. I understand, which is,
Even
I don't
D.
know why I grade 1 through 5 differently than 1 through 10. I just feel like there's more room for nuance in the 1 through 10.
True. Good point.
But yeah, that's Halloween Havoc, and I don't really remember much else from NXT this week except for Samoan Johnson. It probably really doesn't matter much.
Samoan Johnson?
Samoan. Yeah,
it sounds like Samoan Johnson the way it's said. Samoan Johnson.
Maybe that's why they named her Samoan.
Oh, fuck. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them, dude.
I don't live in their head.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood's weird.
Hollywood's
weird.
Sure as shit is.
It is.
The best thing in wrestling this week was the Bloodline with Sami Zayn making them all crack the fuck up.
That's awesome, dude. I love how they love working with the guy, man. I think that's such a good... It's almost like such a feel-good story in many ways.
It's
playing in front of us.
It's fun to watch it, and the only problem is it's Jay. Jimmy's allowed to laugh during it, and Roman rolled with it really well. Right. Solo, I didn't see him on TV, but even he's allowed to crack up a little bit. But Jay really shouldn't be, and he was really trying to hide it, and he even tried to turn around, and Roman's like, "No, you stay right here, Like Jay's like. And he's like, dude, he's all upset and he's mad and he's having a crisis of conscience and he's afraid he's in trouble with the tribal chief. But anybody watching with any sense knew that he was trying to keep from cracking up on screen.
Dude, I said it on Uncaged previously, but I'll say it right here on the Extra. If there was a 6-man award awarded in professional wrestling for this year, it's got to go to Sami Zayn. Sure, you can even arguably make the argument that he could be Wrestler of the Year in many ways, right? I mean, he's had a remarkable sort of 2022 without actually being in like high profile matches, except for his Mania match, of course.
He should be Chris Jericho's Sports Entertainer of the Week, which, by the way, they didn't do that bit this week on Rampage.
They didn't. Actually, I don't think they've done it for a while. 2 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not really complaining because that means Chris Jericho isn't on commentary, so I'm all for that because he's terrible at it. Right. And it wasn't that good a bit. It's as bad as your Man of the Week, just so you can play your silly song that you like.
Who's the Man of the Week? Jeff, do you remember who the man... Well, just for you, you're going to get... You know what that is. Wait for it. It's taking its time, unfortunately.
But somebody else in AEW this week was doing I'm a Man.
He's a man.
Really? It doesn't surprise me because usually I catch it out every week. But who was it?
I think it was Lee Moriarty during his ridiculous promo.
He ain't a man. He's a cat. He's a pussy, man. Straight up.
You're not a tiger.
You're not a tiger, bro.
Tiger.
It's tiger, like sort of spelt like that.
Oh, like Marseille or Mansois?
Yeah, something along those lines. But so it's like...
Now I understand.
Tiger. Like
now
not
I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. One of those awkward, yeah. But he's a real man's man, especially that guy, LA Knight, Jeff.
Excellent. I'm sure he is. By the way, he's like half a head taller than Ricochet. How tall is Ricochet? I didn't think he was short.
4'5"?
Yeah,
possibly.
That sounds right. I think he's like however tall Carmelo Hayes is. I think they're exactly the same height.
Yeah, but Carmelo Hayes is fucking oozing with charisma.
I am just talking about height. Nothing else.
I know. But Ricochet, I bet you Carmelo Hayes is going to become what they wanted out of Ricochet in a way.
Yeah, listen, Carmelo Hayes has a lot more personality. He's got great talent. Ricochet, though, should be special as fuck. It's just he talks and he took off his mask, and I mean,
and he finger banged himself and recorded it, and it's out on the internet for the world to see.
But I mean, other people have done things and still gotten over, like Paige, Xavier Woods. I mean,
that gets over though with the boys, Jeff. Come on, it's a bit different. That finger banging of yourself and putting it online does not get over with the boys. Let alone the girls. What's wrong with you girls?
So in this case, the answer is not penis.
Not penis. It's anus.
Anus. And thumb to anus.
Yeah. Jeez, that's...
So note to self, if you want to be successful, people, do not film yourself thumbing your anus. It's very simple. You can film yourself. You can thumb your anus. Don't do two things simultaneously. Or at least do it and don't have the camera pointing at you thumbing your anus.
Keep it to yourself, folks. That's all.
Like, it's not that hard. It's just one simple rule. You don't have to sacrifice anything except actually filming the action of your thumb going into the anus.
But why?
I don't know why. I don't know why.
I don't understand.
I don't know why people like olives. There's tons of things I
don't
love
understand.
Olives. I don't understand people who like mumble rap. I don't understand people who say hello to me in stores. There's lots of things I don't understand.
I hate that too. I must say,
this is a situation that's so easy to avoid and really difficult to achieve.
It's true. It should be simple, but unfortunately, it's not. It is what it is. Does that mean we're going home now, Jeff? Is that what's going on?
Unless you can pop tips on how to avoid filming yourself, thumbing yourself in the ass.
Simple.
I don't know how we can top that.
I mean, it's simple. Just don't record yourselves.
We are heroes, right? I mean, we're not even saying don't record yourselves. We're just saying don't record yourself doing that with the camera pointing at it.
It's not good, man. It's not good for you. Just quietly.
We're not judging. We're just saying it's proven. It's a proven recipe for failure in the wrestling business.
Take it from us. Well, actually, don't take it from us. But you know what we mean. You know what we mean.
Take it from Jimmy. Don't take it from me.
Well, before we take it anywhere, Jeff, I'm a giver, not a taker. Just quietly. But Jeff, tell them where they can find you.
Thumbing my ass on the PWC next to Jimmy T, who's also thumbing his ass. Sometimes we're thumbing our asses on the Hami Media Group. Sometimes even on Channel Attitude, if we're feeling spicy, we use two thumbs.
What's thumbing my ass in fucking Channel Attitude?
Speaking of thumbs up your ass, we owe you a Hammerlock hangover. Steve and I are probably going to do that tomorrow, a little bit late. But you can also find that right here on the PWC. And Garden of Doom all month has been all Gardens of Doom, Spooktober, Halloween themed scary stuff from witches and vampires and giants and demons. And we're going to drop an episode tomorrow on literature, American Horror Stories. And Garden Views is going to make its heroic comeback with stuff that's really scary, like Death and Taxes, and some more space law, because that's like sort of my favorite thing. So check that shit out. And again, you can find that on PWC. You can find some of those shows on the Hameen Media Group. You can find me sometimes on even Channel Attitude on Cage. You can find it on PW Hustle, on Wrestling Soup Network. Where else? Does the Blow Up still exist?
I don't even know anymore, Jeff. It's up to Jago if it still exists or not. But
if he would get his thumb out of his ass, we'd know.
That's true, and we should. But in saying that, if you want to follow me, you can right here at the PWC Network, but on Twitter at the PWC Network and also at DJ Mass Effects. Please like and subscribe at channelattitude.com and the PWCnetwork.podbean.com and HameenMediaGroup.podbean.com. In saying that, I'm Jimmy T, he's Evil Dose Jeff Lippman, and you've been listening and watching the PWC Extra right here on the PWC Network. See yous.
Remember, on Halloween, the veil between life and death and the dimensions has never been thinner. So at all times, my friends, stay evil.
del Parque. Los niños del parque.
The PWC Network. What the world is watching and listening to.